I bricked it. I pegged it. In that instance, I knew my life was in danger.
Emily Doherty has never spoken about the night she was almost abducted by a man who would become a serial killer, and the police, she said, didn't take her seriously. But the very next day, 17-year-old Victoria Hall was kidnapped just a couple of miles along the road, and her body then dumped in a ditch. That man's name was Steve Wright, now known as one of the country's most notorious serial killers, nicknamed the Suffolk Strangler. This is the story of the 22-year-old who got away, and a story of potential missed opportunities.
I thought that must be him. It can't be a coincidence. The next night, someone else.
It was the early hours of September the 18th, 1999. Emily was walking home from a club with her husband and another couple, but the two women ended up way ahead. Her friend said she had to go, and Emily was left alone.
There was this car going backwards and forwards past me.
It turned into a side road.
I remember the first instance I saw him. The door was open. The engine was running and he was standing by the car. He saw me and I saw him.
She ran.
I jumped over a wall and knocked on someone's door and said, "Let me in." But no one answered.
Petrified, Emily kept running and got down on all fours to peer around the corner to see if he'd gone.
Suddenly, he was literally right there. He stepped right into me. He said, "All right," in a low, sleazy way. In that instance, I knew my life was in danger. I just knew. The adrenaline kicked in.
Again, Emily escaped, hiding in a driveway where she found a big stick.
I thought, if he comes up here, I will pound him.
She could hear the car driving back and forth until nothing, so she tentatively emerged.
He was in the car, laughing at me. This whole charade, awful thing, went on for about 40 minutes.
She sprinted away, and this time a couple did answer the door and called 999, but she says she didn't get the response she expected.
The police came, but they didn't believe me at all. They said, "Come on, how much have you had to drink tonight?"
In fact, she'd been drinking soda water after a beer or two earlier in the pub.
I had to ask them for a lift home. I got in the car with the police and they said, "I suppose you should tell us what happened then."
She says she gave them at least some of the number plate and offered to give a statement later the same day.
They said that won't be necessary. Forget about it. I really felt like they didn't take me seriously at all. They treated me like a silly little girl.
The next day, Emily left to go travelling in India, but when she rang home, there was a message asking her to call the police urgently. The manhunt was already underway for Vicky Hall's killer, her body having been found 25 miles away. 5 days after disappearing from the same club in Felixstowe that Emily had been at the night before. Emily did give a statement over the phone from the Himalayas. She says the police mentioned sending 2 officers to produce an e-fit image of the suspect, but it didn't happen.
That was the last I ever heard about it.
In 2006, 7 years later, that same killer, still walking the streets, would murder 5 sex workers he'd picked up in Ipswich's red light district. Their bodies were found in rural locations, just like Vicky's had been. Steve Wright, who denied the charges, was given a whole life jail term. Vicky's murder had remained a mystery, but 20 years on, the case was reopened and eventually Wright would be charged with killing her too. At the start of his trial at the Old Bailey, he finally changed his plea to guilty, admitting murdering Vicky and attempting to abduct Emily. Emily was living overseas when Wright went on his killing spree. She didn't see a picture of him until Vicky's case was reopened.
It's always been in the back of my mind. Why didn't they show me a picture of the suspect?
She knows how lucky she is to be alive.
It's devastating what happened to everyone else. Absolutely devastating. I'm suffering massively from survivor's guilt. It's a burden that I carry. It makes me feel sick with grief. There's the guilt of not being heard. You can't help thinking, if they had taken me seriously, Vicky would have survived. But certainly if they had found him sooner, the 5 other women might still be here.